Before she won Grammys, before her voice touched millions, CeCe Winans was just a shy little girl in Detroit, the eighth child in a strict gospel-driven family. But when she stood at the altar at just 7 years old and sang "Fill My Cup," something shifted. That moment didn't just reveal her voice, it revealed her calling. And what followed was a journey of faith, fame, and family that would redefine gospel music forever. CeCe Winans' life has always been guided by two forces, gospel and grace. From a young age, her deep faith and love for music were inseparable, forming the foundation of a legendary career. In 1984, she married Alvin Love II, and together they built a family rooted in purpose, co-pastoring Nashville Life Church in Tennessee. But her journey began long before the pulpit. It started in 1981 when she and her brother BB joined the PTL Club, a Christian television show hosted by Jim and Tammy Faye Bakker. One duet, "Up Where We Belong," changed everything, turning the siblings into a dynamic gospel duo known worldwide. Their debut album, "Lord Lift Us Up," dropped in 1984, and what followed was history. 9 gold and platinum albums, a sound that blended gospel with R&B and Christian soul, and millions of hearts moved along the way. With hits like "Different Lifestyles" selling over 1 million copies, they achieved what few gospel artists ever had. The duo won 3 Grammys and blazed a trail for a new generation of gospel music. But CeCe didn't stop there. In 1995, she stepped into the spotlight alone and soared. Her solo debut, "Alone in His Presence," sold over 1 million copies, winning a Grammy and 2 Dove Awards. With albums like "Everlasting Love," "Alabaster Box," and "Purified," CeCe Winans didn't just sing gospel, she became gospel. CeCe Winans didn't just make gospel music, she built a legacy. In 1999, she founded Pure Springs Gospel, releasing hits like "Count on Me," a stunning duet with Whitney Houston, and the fiery anthem "Waging War." Her 2021 live album, "Believe," for it soared to the top of Christian charts, proving her voice still moves generations. With 17 Grammy Awards, 33 GMA, Dove Awards, 19 Stellar Awards, 7 NAACP Image Awards, and 3 Billboard Music Awards, CeCe is officially the most awarded female gospel artist of all time. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and was inducted into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame. But her influence stretches far beyond the mic. She's authored 3 books, hosted CeCe's Place on the Odyssey Network, and served as a judge on Bet Sunday Best, inspiring countless souls with her wisdom, presence, and unwavering faith. But behind the spotlight lies a more personal battle, one marked by courage, resilience, and quiet strength. CeCe Winans has publicly opened up about her journey with multiple sclerosis, a chronic autoimmune disease that disrupts communication between the brain and body. For someone whose gift is rooted in expression, MS presents an unthinkable challenge: numbness, fatigue, muscle weakness, and even loss of mobility. And yet, through it all, CeCe stands firm, using her platform not just to perform, but to advocate. Her story is no longer just about awards and albums. It's about overcoming. It's about faith under fire. And it's a reminder that true greatness isn't just in the voice, it's in the fight behind it. Over 2.8 million people worldwide suffer from MS in varied degrees of severity, according to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. The illness can be emotionally and physically exhausting because to its sporadic or increasing symptoms. CeCe Winans' life changed when she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the age of 38. Having put out hit albums like "Alone in His Presence" in 1995 and "Alabaster Box" in 1999, she was at the height of her solo career at the time and juggling her responsibilities as a wife, mother, as well as co-pastor with her spouse, Alvin Love II. The diagnosis came as a wake-up call, as Winans herself put it, making her face the fact that she had a chronic illness that may influence her energy, mobility, and performance in an unpredictable way. For an artist whose work required a lot of travel, performances, and public appearances, fatigue, a defining sign of multiple sclerosis, was a special hardship. But instead of letting the illness define her, Winans decided to use it as a chance to reevaluate her goals and adopt a better way of living. In order to properly manage her illness after being diagnosed, Winans made substantial adjustments to her daily schedule. In order to boost her immune system and general well-being, she changed her diet to one that was higher in nutrients. Her regimen became centered around regular exercise, which helped her fight weariness and keep up her physical strength, two things that MS patients need to manage their symptoms and avoid relapses. Her body recovered and was able to handle the demands of her work thanks to her prioritization of rest, which is frequently underappreciated in the fast-paced entertainment world. These changes demonstrated Winans' will to enjoy life to the fullest, despite her diagnosis, and were not just pragmatic. Winans' proactive approach to MS care emphasizes how crucial lifestyle changes are to the management of chronic illnesses. According to research from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, MS patients' quality of life can be considerably enhanced by proper nutrition, exercise, and stress management. Winans made these adjustments to better match her life with her ideals in addition to improving her physical health. Her skill in treating the disease is demonstrated by her ability to keep up a demanding performing schedule and release albums like Believe for a 2021 and Purified 2005. She has, however, been open about the ongoing difficulties, recognizing that managing MS necessitates ongoing adaptation and monitoring. Winans' steadfast faith has been essential to navigating her MS diagnosis. Growing up in a pious family in the Church of God in Christ, Winans' spirituality has long served as the cornerstone of both her personal and professional life. She has frequently discussed the importance of praise, a lesson she received from her parents after her brother Ronald Winans passed away tragically in 2005. This viewpoint served as a beacon for her as she dealt with MS, enabling her to face her diagnosis with faith in God's purpose. She has highlighted in interviews that suffering is suffering and that recovery occurs day by day, demonstrating a faith-based fortitude that perceives setbacks as chances for development. Her family has been an essential source of support, especially her husband Alvin, Love II, and their kids, Ashley Rose and Alvin III. CeCe and Alvin have a partnership based on mutual support and faith as co-pastors of Nashville Life Church. Alvin's unwavering support, particularly during difficult times like her 2008 emergency stomach surgery, highlights how strong their relationship is. Her extended Winans family, who are well known for their close-knit relationships and musical heritage, has also been a huge help. Supporters have also been crucial, contributing prayers and words of wisdom that Winans attributes to helping her get through tough times. She has been able to preserve emotional and spiritual equilibrium while living with MS because to this group of people who support her. In addition to using her platform to encourage those with MS and increase awareness of the disease, CeCe Winans has not kept her experience hidden. Her dedication to advocacy is demonstrated by her work with the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, which supports patient resources and research while educating the public about MS. By sharing her story, Winans has shown that a fulfilling life is achievable even with a chronic illness, and she has become a ray of hope for those dealing with similar diagnoses. Others dealing with their own health issues will find inspiration in her openness about the difficulties of multiple sclerosis and her obvious accomplishment as an author, artist, and pastor. Winans' advocacy goes beyond official collaborations. Her songs, which are filled with themes of faith, optimism, and tenacity, are a potent but covert kind of support. Songs that speak to people going through personal struggles, such as health issues, include Waging War and Believe for It. She is a role model for transforming personal suffering into a platform for positive effect. And her books, including On a Positive Note 1999, and her work as a pastor further highlight her message of perseverance. The second is CeCe Winans' tenacity through urgent stomach surgery, demonstrating support and faith. CeCe Winans had to have emergency stomach surgery in 2008 after experiencing a sudden and severe health crisis at the age of 44. Based on the limited information supplied, it appears that the condition was critical and needed medical attention right away. Acute conditions like appendicitis, gastrointestinal problems, or other abdominal emergencies frequently lead to such procedures, which can be emotionally and physically exhausting. Winans was juggling a lot of responsibilities when she had this health concern. She is a well-known gospel singer who travels extensively, co-pastor of Nashville Life Church with her spouse, and mother to Ashley Rose and Alvin III. Her physical health, as well as her rigorous personal and professional obligations, were significantly disrupted by the procedure. After emergency surgery, the recovery phase usually consists of weeks of rest, physiotherapy, and close observation to avoid complications. This break probably presented a significant obstacle for an artist like Winans, whose career depends on her capacity to perform with vigor and interact with audiences across the globe. She might have lost steam due to the psychological effects of a health crisis and the physical strain of surgery. Winans' ability to bounce back from her 2008 emergency surgery and resume her diverse career speaks volumes about her inner strength. Winans' response to this crisis, however, reflected her characteristic resilience rooted in her deep faith and the support of her loved ones, especially her husband, Alvin. Love II, although not made public, the recuperation procedure would have necessitated major timetable modifications. She was used to traveling a lot and doing high-energy shows as a performer, both of which require physical endurance. Her responsibilities as a pastor at Nashville Life Church included community involvement and spiritual leadership, which also called for emotional and physical presence. These activities most likely had to be temporarily put on hold due to the surgery, which required Winans to balance the demands of her public life with her health. Her sustained production throughout this time shows that she returned to work well after her recovery. She had just 3 years earlier produced the highly regarded album Purified 2005. Additionally, she continued to perform and make music in the years after her operation, including the 2008 release of Thy Kingdom, Come, which coincided with her health scare. Her capacity to return to work is a testament to her mental and spiritual strength in addition to her bodily recuperation. Winans has frequently discussed the importance of praise, a lesson she picked up from her parents during the 2005 death of her brother Ronald Winans. Another family tragedy. This way of thinking, which places a strong emphasis on having faith in God in the face of hardship, probably helped her get through the uncertainty and suffering of her surgical recuperation. The unwavering support of Winans' husband, Alvin Love II, who has been married since 1984 and has established a partnership based on faith, respect, and shared ministry, was crucial in helping her get through her health crisis. From raising their kids to juggling the demands of CeCe's international singing career, they have weathered many obstacles together as co-pastors of Nashville Life Church. Alvin was an unwavering source of support during her 2008 surgery and recuperation. Although there aren't many detailed reports of his involvement during this time, Winans has often mentioned his steadfast assistance in interviews, calling him a rock in trying times. This support was especially important because of the surgery's timing. In addition to overseeing her music career, Winans was also taking up more pastoral duties in 2008. Alvin most likely had to step in to help with the emotional and practical demands of recovery, whether it was taking care of her family, assisting her with her spiritual needs, or arranging her work obligations. Given that CeCe has frequently attributed her life support system to her parents, Dolores and David Winans, her siblings, and her extended family, the close-knit Winans family probably had a part as well. Winans was able to handle the health scare with fortitude thanks to their common religion and communal strength. A defining factor in CeCe Winans' life, her faith has influenced how she has handled both victories and setbacks. She was raised in a home where spiritual devotion and gospel music were entwined. In the Church of God in Christ, her 2008 health crisis made this foundation even more important. Winans has frequently talked about how her parents' act of lifting their hands in worship, in spite of their sorrow after her brother Ronald passed away, showed her the transformational power of faith. She probably approached her surgery with the same mindset, seeing it as a test of faith in God's plan. Winans has stressed in interviews that recovery happens day by day, and that suffering is pain, a way of thinking that mirrors how she handles hardship. Her spiritual resilience is demonstrated by her ability to present the surgery as a manageable challenge rather than a catastrophic setback. In addition to helping her heal, this way of thinking guided her ministry as she persisted in using her music and sermons to spread messages of hope and tenacity. Songs from this era, like Thy Kingdom, Come, resonate with listeners going through their own hardships because they convey themes of faith and victory. Even though it was a personal burden, CeCe Winans' 2008 emergency stomach surgery did not ruin her career or lessen her influence. Rather, it turned into another chapter in her tale of overcoming hardship with the help of her faith and community. Her perseverance and the strength of her support network are demonstrated by her capacity to resume performing, recording, and pastoring following such a health scare. Her sensitivity was probably strengthened by this event, which improved her capacity to relate to audiences and congregation members going through difficult times. The third is Whitney Houston's tragic passing. CeCe Winans' experience of mourning and remembering. The friendship between CeCe Winans and Whitney Houston was a special fusion of interpersonal ties and professional cooperation. Based on their shared passion for music and spirituality, the two connected through their work in the music business, with Houston's gospel music background serving as a bridge. Houston, whose mother was a well-known gospel singer, was born in 1963 and grew up singing in the choir at her Newark, New Jersey church. Winans, who grew up surrounded by the gospel history of the Wine family in the Church of God in Christ, found resonance in this shared background. The duet Count on Me, which was included on the Waiting to Exhale album in 1995, was their most well-known joint effort. The song, a sincere hymn to support and friendship, reached the top of the charts, peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and received a lot of praise. The song, which was written by Winans, Houston, and her brother B.B. Winans, demonstrated their emotional depth and vocal synergy, demonstrating the sincerity of their relationship. Working with Houston was more than just a career achievement for Winans. It was a chance to connect with a buddy who was as passionate about music and religion as she was. Houston's love of gospel music and her ability to imbue her performances with deep conviction, even in secular genres, are two examples of her spiritual side that Winans has frequently praised. Beyond the recording studio, they remain friends. Winans has referred to Houston as a sister, emphasizing the intimate bond they formed. Houston showed a part of herself that closely matched Winans' principles through her frequent church visits and her renditions of gospel songs. Like I Go to the Rock, Winans viewed Houston as a devout woman who valued her gospel heritage, despite her international renown and personal hardships. Their friendship was especially meaningful because of their common spirituality, which allowed them to communicate truthfully, despite the demands of the entertainment industry. Whitney Houston was discovered unconscious in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on February 11, 2012, only hours before she was supposed to perform at a Grammy Awards ceremony for pregnant women. According to the coroner's report, she drowned to death, with heart problems and long-term drug usage playing a role. Houston was 48, as contemporaries and fans lamented the passing of one of the greatest vocalists in history, whose anthems like I Want to Dance with Somebody and I Will Always Love You defined a generation. The news sent shockwaves across the music industry. Houston's passing was a very personal tragedy for CeCe Winans. Houston was not a family member, but her death was deeply felt because she was a close friend and collaborator. At the age of 47, Winans had already faced many traumas, such as the death of her brother, Ronald Winans, in 2005, as well as her own health issues, which included multiple sclerosis and the need for emergency stomach surgery. However, considering their close friendship and shared past, Houston's death was a particularly devastating blow. Winans' grieving was probably made more complicated by the public nature of Houston's addiction issues and the media attention surrounding her passing, as she lamented not just her friend, but also the difficulties Houston had in her last years. Ween has discussed Houston's passing in a few moving words, focusing more on her friend's spiritual center than her well-known difficulties. She has remembered Houston's passion for gospel music and her strong religious beliefs in interviews, opting to pay tribute to her legacy by emphasizing their positive relationship, as demonstrated in her reaction to her brother's passing, where she learned from her parents to find strength in praise and confidence in God's plan. This strategy mirrors Winans' larger philosophy of coping with grief. Although tragic, Houston's death served as yet another opportunity for Winans to rely on her faith and deal with her loss day by day, as she is frequently characterized. CeCe Winans had an emotional hole following Whitney Houston's passing in 2012, but it also strengthened her resolve to pursue her music and ministry. Winans was a well-known solo performer at the time, co-pastoring Nashville Life Church with her husband, Alvin Love II, and having put out albums like Purified 2005 and Thy Kingdom Come 2008. Houston's death, which occurred only 7 years after her brother's death, probably made Wine think more deeply about faith, mortality, and the value of relationships. She has proven resilient in the face of personal sorrow by continuing to produce music, such as the Grammy-winning live album, Let Them Fall in Love 2017. As a pastor, Winans probably used her own loss to help others by showing compassion for people going through a difficult time. She demonstrates her dedication to using her platform for good through her work with Nashville Life Church and her support of causes like multiple sclerosis awareness. Despite being a personal tragedy, Houston's passing might have made Winans more determined to share messages of faith and fortitude because she had personal experience with the anguish of losing a loved one to difficult conditions. Instead of focusing on the circumstances surrounding Whitney Houston's death, CeCe Winans has decided to celebrate her musical accomplishments and spiritual side in order to pay tribute to her memory. Winans has emphasized Houston's gospel heritage and her voice's capacity to move listeners in interviews, making certain that the beauty and significance of her friend's legacy are remembered. This strategy fits with Winans' larger philosophy of life, which holds that faith turns suffering into meaning. In an encouraging and motivating way, Winans preserves her friend's memory by emphasizing Houston's passion for gospel music and their times together. A combination of musical brilliance, unwavering faith, and fortitude in the face of personal tragedy can be seen in CeCe Winans' life and career. Her journey is characterized by groundbreaking accomplishments and a dedication to spreading hope, starting from her musical family beginnings and culminating in her becoming the best-selling and most awarded female gospel musician. Her need on faith was highlighted by the untimely death of her brother Ronald, which influenced her outlook on life and her ministry. At 60 years old, she still inspires people with her music, writings, and pastoral work, making a lasting impression on gospel music and other genres.